When you prepare to step outside your house and go out into the world, how do you feel about yourself? This is a question I've been thinking about a lot lately, and then I've discovered a new author, for me new, she's not new at all, she's 77 years old now, Susie Orbach, and she wrote in 1978, that was the year I was born, a book titled Fat is a Feminist Issue, and I'm sure she's sick and tired of being interviewed about that book, but the problem is the issue is still an issue, women and how they feel about their bodies and their weight. And so I was thinking, as you can tell, I think about this a lot. Women, aging, weight, our self-image, how we feel about ourselves, how we present ourselves to the world. And as a lot of you who watch this know, I struggle with self-image, with body image issues. And I think every woman does on some level. Most women, not all, but most women. Some women have managed to escape that. And I think there is a route to escape, and that route is to avoid being the object of a gaze, male gaze, even other females' gaze, and you go fully into your work, your talents, your whatever it is you do in this world to make a living. And I've been thinking about, for me, my attachment to being slimmer, made up, pretty, whatever the word is, to my attachment to fitting a certain ideal, the female ideal. Not that I fit it, but I think I'm close enough. My hanging on to that is because I'm afraid that if I don't look a certain way, I will not be relevant. I will no longer attract the male gaze. And the fear is that then who will rescue me? Who will then rescue me? And that's a big realization for me. It's not that I want to be attractive for the sake of being attractive. It's a survival mechanism, because as a woman, we are taught to be rescued. Every single fairy tale, you know this. If you've read fairy tales, the princess, she's the feminine ideal, waits in the castle or she falls asleep and she is saved by the prince, by his kiss, by his slaying the dragon, or any of those kinds of scenarios. Mills and Boone, rom-coms, her life begins when she falls in love, when she meets the Prince Charming. And so even though there are modern takes and twists and new stories that do defy this, obviously there's people who go against this, writers, artists, authors, poets, but the overarching, overriding, overwhelming narrative is that the woman looks pretty and dainty and delicate, the glass slipper, the Cinderella, and she waits to be rescued by the prince. And so she has no life until he comes along and he pulls her out of her misery. And so no wonder women from very young are taught to be an object of attention, be the object of a male gaze, and also be the object of other females. So if you can be what other females define as the female, whatever, standard, beauty standard, women can look up to you and then they ask you, how did you do this? How do you do your hair? How did you get in shape? What diet are you on? And all those things. Then you are also popular. So you are popular if you fit the beauty ideal. You're popular with females because they all want a piece of that. They want to know how you did it. They also want to be to fit the beauty ideal, so they want your magic because they also want to be rescued. And then, of course, you get the male attention. And so to drop all of that for a woman, it's terrifying. It is terrifying, at least for me right now. I think there are women who have crossed over to the other side where they don't give a flying F about any gaze at all. And I think it happens naturally with age. As we age, I'm assuming, not there yet, as your looks do fade, regardless of your weight and your size and whether you fit the beauty ideal or not, as you age, You just no longer attract the gaze. And I think there women find freedom, but I think there is still terror, because what if? What if you are so unseen, invisible, irrelevant that you can no longer even get a job? That no man is going to come to your rescue. He's not going to come change your tires. He's not going to want to fix your whatever it is, because in general, that is how women survive, by men helping them. And it's wrong, and it's not feminist, and it's not anything. I don't know. But it's kind of how we that's how we are socialized, and that's just a generalization. I know it's not, this doesn't apply to everyone, and this is the heteronormative kind of thing, but I just realized that that is why I am terrified of not fitting a certain look. So I would like to know what you think, but I found Susie Orbach's book, Fat is a Feminist Issue, and I was reading it, and there are so many passages that are so relevant still today about how women feel about their bodies, and how mothers pass this on to daughters, and how I'm looking for a passage here on my Kindle. This here: to be a woman is to live with the tension of giving and not getting, which means we are always giving out emotional support, nurturance, we're feeding everyone around us, helping them, lifting them up, supporting them. We're giving of our beauty, of our looks. And when it says not getting, I do think she's wrong. Um, we do get, but I know what she means. She means that who offers a female support? So, especially mothers and wives, we dismantle ourselves and let everyone else thrive, and then we thrive. We put ourselves at the bottom of the list. Not always, and not every woman. So I think that to a degree has changed, because remember, this book was written in 1978. But in general, the woman gives up her body to be pregnant. She gives up of herself to breastfeed. She gives up her sleep, her everything. And in general, women do the emotional support work for men, because men are not socialized to nurture and support each other. And that's fine. I'm not saying we shouldn't do that. It's just how it is. But look, we do get back. If we have good partners in our lives, good husbands, good men, we get back from them. So I think she's wrong there. But I mean, we get looked after in other ways, financial, and I find men are wonderful in so many ways. They help with all the practical stuff. And it's not that I want to be in a world without men. What I'm thinking about now is how women can just be themselves without worrying too much and still be attractive. And I think we would be, because it's biology to be attractive to the opposite sex. And I mean, that starts in teenage years, is when you start to notice the opposite sex. And I think every little boy, or every teenage boy, just finds girls attractive, because it's just hormonal, obviously, unless you're gay or lesbian, whatever. But I don't think I think we worry more than we should about our looks, our weight. Men find a range of women attractive. So I think a lot of it is put on us by advertising, by images that we see, by the fact that Hollywood only picks certain body types, certain looks. And so what can we do? What can we do about this? Because I am so sad for all of us, for myself included, for us women who we feel like we are not enough when we step outside of the house. Just how we are is not okay. And that is sad. It breaks my heart that we females can leave our house feeling all kinds of insecurity for just being as we are, just being in our bodies. We always think our bodies are wrong or something about our appearance is wrong. And it's not. It's not. But it's the society that is wrong. We should be living in a world where how you are is how you are. And it's just accepted that that is you. But we live in this weird society where everything is, yeah, it's based on models, advertising, actresses, Hollywood, Instagram, images, apps, Facetune, filters, you know the drill, makeup, lighting, cameras, all of that. And so even a woman who is stunning will feel deeply, deeply insecure. And she could feel insecure for her whole life. And the sad thing is that it starts young. It starts with daughters growing up and seeing their mothers go through all of this internal, or not even so much internal, all of this self-loathing, body loathing. Not necessarily, the mother doesn't loathe who she is, but she can loathe how she shows up in the world in her body. And I think back to when I was growing up, watching my mom with her tummy controlling pants, whatever they were called, those tummy tucking things that had the built-in seams to try and make her stomach look flatter. And that sent me a message that having a relaxed, rounded belly was not okay. It's not acceptable in the world, so we do everything we can to hide it. And I know she was just trying to fit in all the ways that I now am trying to fit in, and all the things that I'm doing to try and fit the mold. But it sends a message that a woman's body is not okay. And we see it in so many women. And I actually remember when I was even younger, she had a friend and she would go to that friend's house and they would do, I think it was Jane Fonda workouts in the lounge. And I remember one of the exercises was you had to walk like this on the floor and it was for the butt and you marched backwards like this. And it was ridiculous. It's a ridiculous exercise. But I think they had a cassette tape and they put it in, something like that. I don't know. And I remember that thinking, this is so odd what these women do, but they were doing it. And so from young, you absorb messaging about how your body is not okay, you need to change it. And overwhelmingly, I would say 99.9% of women get that message. How your body is not okay. It is filtering down to men now, which is even worse. This body shame about how you are. So now men are also taking steroids, putting in hair plugs, dyeing their hair, waxing, shaving. I don't know all the things men are doing. Some men are having surgeries to enhance different body parts as well. And that saddens me even more. Although I kind of feel at least now they understand what we've been going through, but it's not right. And the Susie Orbach was saying it's like a modern westernized thing. She says our greatest export in the modern westernized world, we're exporting body hatred. And so in cultures where they were not modernized and where they didn't even have TV, so many of the eating disorder issues and all the issues that we face, they just didn't have. She was saying in Fiji, I think it was, they only got TV in 1995, 7, something like that. And from then, the instances of bulimia and anorexia suddenly increased, or there wasn't any before that. And suddenly 11% of the girls were throwing up and having bulimia. And it just shows you that these things are not normal and natural, and they shouldn't be. Can you imagine a society, a world, where every woman, every young girl was just amazed at, oh, this is me. I'm okay, exactly as I am. And she just walked out her front door feeling good about herself. I mean, It sounds shocking. It sounds shocking that a woman could just feel good about herself and just be like, okay, cool, this is me, with anything that seems not in. So a woman with her poochie belly could just be okay with it and just walk out the front door and feel sexy. And now with age, I mean, I'm slim, but with age, the tissue, the tone of my lower belly is just getting softer and softer. And the fat is not firm, so it's looking more cellulite on my little poochie belly here. And I'm like, oh dear God, what can I do? And I shouldn't worry about it. I'm 40 fucking 5. Who cares about a little bit of a belly pooch? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? And yet here I am spending mental energy worrying about the softening of my belly, which is a very natural process. And so it does, when you look at it from a zoomed out perspective, it is insane that girls, starting from as young as 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, are already thinking about how they're going to diet, how they're going to be slim, how they are going to look a certain way. And even worse, it's almost a given now for some people. They just think it's a given that they are going to have plastic surgery. And I'm not against any of it. I still think it's very hard to change society. And if you are in the society, you need to do what you need to do to navigate it and feel good, because feeling shit about yourself and then just staying indoors and not wanting to go out into the world is also not an option. It's not good. So if a surgery gives you the confidence to engage with people in the world, is it wrong? I don't think so. I think it's because how do we change it? Well, we change it by having very vocal discussions about it. A video like this, mothers can help their daughters navigate this. In fact, even mothers and their sons, if we could teach our boys to see a natural beauty as more beautiful than fake plastic, stick thin, dolled up beauty, that's also a possibility towards change. Because it's not just mothers passing it on to daughters, it's everyone, men, women, all of us. So the change obviously starts with us, but it's very hard because you've got these big industries advertising things to you, and the messaging just becomes like, well, that is just the way it is. So, even on YouTube, you hear how I lost 40 pounds in 3 months. The subtext is that my body wasn't worthy before and now it is, but you don't process all that. You just say, oh wow, she lost, okay, let's see how she did it. But the messaging is that the before body was wrong and the after body is okay. So often it's the whole thing is wrong. Yes, that person's trying to share tips. And I mean, again, I think about my main channel where I've shared diet tips, advice on how to lose weight, get skinny, whatever. And again, the advice is solid, the tips are good, nothing wrong with that. Eat healthy food, exercise. There's nothing wrong with what I'm saying. But the premise, that's the word I was looking for, the premise is wrong. The premise that you need to change. Because the truth is, no one needs to go on it. Well, unless they're really sick, unhealthy, and they need it because their doctors told them to. But again, that's also health shaming. But look, if you're at risk for a heart attack, I guess you do need to go on a diet. But for pure weight, just to lose a couple of kilograms or pounds, no one needs a diet. Let's be honest. You can be healthy within quite a wide range of body fat. We were designed to store body fat. That's how we survived. Okay, when it gets excessive, sure, there may be a problem, and that's medical. But the premise is all like you watch videos on makeup or skin treatments or how to get this skin or that skin. And the premise again is that your skin as it is, there's something wrong with it. It's not there. It's not at the end result. Or how to get rid of age spots, beauty spots, freckles, how to get rid of I don't know, even wrinkles. Again, the premise is that wrinkle is wrong and smooth is good. And so there's always a premise that goes unquestioned in the very titles of videos, of ads, like get rid of cellulite, or the word, which I hate, anti-aging. You cannot anti-age. Age will happen to everybody. Even Brian Johnson will age. And so, again, it's the unquestioned premise of what is good and what is bad and what we should be aiming for. And no one says, but should we? Like, you buy a cream that promises to reduce fine lines and wrinkles. And when I was younger, I used to think, well, should I even reduce? Why? Like, for what? And thinking, well, every woman I know gets wrinkly, so none of these creams clearly work. But we don't even question that anymore. We're just like, okay, let's reduce the wrinkles. Let's just do it. Let's fight the wrinkles. Let's fight this. Let's fight that. When we can't, and we know we can't, and so then it's just we're setting ourselves up for misery all the time, because all these fights are actually not a fight worth having. What we should be spending our time on, and I know this, and yet I'm still a product of society, and so I'm still caught in the whole cycle. And it's okay, I'm a human, and I forgive myself for it. But what we should be doing is spending more time thinking about how to just accept ourselves and be okay with what we see in the mirror and be okay with what is. And then the more we are okay with our imperfections or our humanness, it's not even an imperfection, that even there the word is, again, the premise is wrong. We should just be okay with what we are. So the more I spend time just being okay with what I am, the more I can just relax and then be okay with how everyone else shows up. And I am okay with everyone else's humanness. It's always this self-directed, I need to be a certain way because I am so strict on myself. But of course it spills over, because then anyone else who sees me holding myself to these unrealistic beauty ideals thinks, oh, I don't fit that, so she might not like me, she's going to judge me. And the truth is, I don't. I really don't. I don't judge anyone. I love everyone exactly as they are for what's inside. But sometimes I suppose it can come across as a judgment, because I might be fussing, straightening my hair, doing my eyelashes, going to the gym, eating healthy, and it can seem that me doing all of that is a judgment on you who's not doing that. So I get that as well, and I get that we need to just relax into our bodies. And I'm speaking mostly to myself. It's always, I make videos about topics that I need to hear this. I need to hear it because it's hard for me. I need to hear that it's okay to be as you are, as your body is. When you wake up, if you're softer, more wrinkly, more poochy than you were last year or the day before, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And it's hard because it feels terrifying, and it feels like if I let go, all hell will break loose. Like I'm just going to, I don't know, just be completely fat and so ugly that no one will want to look at me. And I know that's not the truth. I mean, it's not going to happen. How I age is going to be fine. It's going to be fine. We all get there. So yeah, why does it feel terrifying? I challenge you to ask yourself that very, very question. Why? And why, especially if you are a woman in her 60s, 70s, or 80s, I would love to know how you navigated aging. And did you feel invisible? Do you love aging? How do you go out into the world when you do feel like the world is not partial to older women? Or is that all in our minds? Have you just decided, like, stuff it, F it, fuck it, this is me, world, take it or leave it? It's interesting. But what I find very interesting is that 45 years ago, Susie Orbach wrote this book about women's issues with their bodies and their weight and how they look. And today, 45 years later, I would say the issue has gotten worse. And I haven't read the whole book, so I don't want to speak too much about the book, but I can see it's about women's body issues. And we are probably at a worse place societally. And so that means that society itself is wrong. Society is sick. It is sick in the head. And somehow we all know it, but what to do about it, I don't know. So I leave you with those thoughts, and I have some mulling to do, and there's a video there for my main channel, but see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this, and I welcome all of you new subscribers. I love you all. See you in the next one. Bye.